From the picturesque village of Soqma, the Inca Quarry Trail begins with a steady climb that quickly immerses hikers in a landscape of deep canyons and rugged mountains. This trail, far less traveled than the classic Inca Trail, offers a sense of authentic exploration and solitude. This hike takes you to the beautiful Perolniyoq waterfall, an imposing cascade of approximately 100 meters that plunges in two majestic steps over a rock face. The hike to this point takes about an hour. Upon arrival, the waterfall reveals itself in all its power, creating a spectacle of light, sound, and cool mist that transforms the canyon into a place of breathtaking natural beauty and revitalizing energy. It was for this reason that the ancient Peruvians greatly valued the worship of water, choosing these sacred sites to build their temples. Continuing the hike, the ascent begins along a path flanked by Cachichata trees, a species native to the Peruvian Andes that cling to the slopes, growing above 3,500 meters. Their reddish bark and branches covered in greenish moss create an enchanting and silent forest, where the air is cool and the only sounds are the crunch of leaves underfoot and the gentle whisper of the wind. The weather on the first day is stable and dry, with exceptional brightness that makes the rivers sparkle and highlights every detail of the archaeological landscape. Although the spring sun gains strength, the altitude of these valleys keeps the air cool, making these hours ideal for trekking or visiting Inca sites. The air is pure, and as the morning progresses, the cobalt blue sky almost always dominates, offering spectacular views of the imposing Andean peaks that guard the valley. Upon reaching the midpoint of this trail, the landscape transforms dramatically, opening onto a vast amphitheater of mountains whose slopes are sculpted into countless agricultural terraces. These are the cornfields of the Quechua communities, where the intense green of the crops creates a vibrant mosaic that contrasts with the ochre of the soil and the bluish-gray of the distant peaks. The path winds among these terraces, allowing visitors to observe the ancestral work of the farmers and feel the profound connection between their culture. In this sacred space, the Incas built various temples and astronomical observatories, which were of great importance for predicting the exact dates of the agricultural and festive calendar. The Incas developed a unique mastery in stone carving and assembly. In the case of the Perolniyoq ruins, Inca architects used a rustic masonry style, bound with clay mortar, but always respecting the construction patterns governed by Inca philosophy and religion. Once completed, the rustic walls were covered with several layers of clay, and the main iconographies of the gods and royal families were painted on top of these. The most prominent structure at Perolniyoq is the astronomical observatory, oriented to the east, from where the sun rises each morning, marking the different seasons as well as the solstices and equinoxes, thus transforming the architecture into an instrument of cosmic observation. It is also believed that the mummies of the main rulers of the Inca Empire resided in this enclosure, adorned with all their sacred objects. After visiting the Inca ruins, we continued our hike to the community of Ryan. The path is surrounded by shrubs and wildflowers, which are peacefully accompanied by the sounds of shepherds tending their flocks and farmers going about their agricultural work, such as planting potatoes and grains. The trail is wide and presents no challenge in completing this section. Around midday, we arrived at the campsite. The first night is spent in glass domes, enjoying the beautiful scenery of the Andes. The second day involves the ascent to the Puka Casa Pass, located at 4,600 meters. The hike begins very early in the morning with the fresh Andean air. At every step of the trail, we encounter Quechua villagers. The weather is cold in the early morning, but it gradually warms up as the sun rises. The ascent to the Puka Casa Pass is an experience that transcends the merely physical, becoming a sensory and spiritual journey. The path winds between endless hills covered by a dense carpet of Ichu, that Andean grass with golden and ochre hues that sways in the cold wind, whispering ancient stories. Each step on the firm, stony ground elevates the hiker, not only in altitude but also in anticipation, as the air thins and the immensity of the landscape unfolds in every direction. The solitude of the place, broken only by the sound of one's own breath and the crunch of stones under boots, imposes a reverent stillness, preparing the spirit for the majestic encounter that awaits beyond the ridge. The descent from the heights to the Ollantaytambo Valley begins along an ancient path carved into the mountainside. The winding, stony trail cuts through a dwarf forest of cunha trees, the highest altitude trees in the world, whose twisted trunks and reddish bark tell tales of resilience against the wind and cold. The air, still fresh and heavy with the earthy scent of vegetation and damp stone, accompanies the hiker on this journey, where the gaze must be divided between the immediate landscape and the rugged beauty that surrounds it. The vast expanse of the Sacred Valley unfolds like a living tapestry of verdant agricultural fields irrigated by the Urubamba River. After a 4-hour hike, you finally reach one of the most iconic sites of the trek, the famous Sun Gate, known locally as Intipunku. It's not a physical gate, but a natural and spiritual viewpoint of powerful resonance. From this sacred threshold, the reward is one of the most emblematic and comprehensive views of the Sacred Valley. Far below, like the heart of this majesty, stands the town of Ollantaytambo, with its imposing stone terraces. This was not just a lookout post, but a ceremonial site where, according to tradition, the first rays of the sun on the June solstice were received with reverence, symbolically bathing the entire valley and strengthening the bond between the sky, the earth, and the powerful empire that ruled it. So, in summary, we can say that the Inca Quarry Trek is a little visited hike with views of the most beautiful landscapes in Cusco.